Hey all, coming at you from Costa Rica. I've been having a little family work and play retreat, and I wanted to make another BeingNess video while I was out here on something that has been on my mind a bunch lately. It's been something I've been trying out in my life, and I call it reality alignment, or death to the soul eaters. It started when I encountered the Center for Applied Rationality in San Francisco, and they do work on cognitive biases. Basically, how do we think better? How do we think clearer? We all have ways of interpreting the world that aren't actually how the world is. We see so much more of what we perceive than anything that's really outside of us. And so if we change the way that we perceive the world, we change the way that the world is to us. And I think it's the same thing for authentic relating and circling in a lot of ways. We change the way we feel about the world. We change the way we react to other people and the way we are with ourselves, and the world itself changes, which is kind of amazing and terrifying if you think about it. Like, nothing is real. We all have different perceptions, and it also gives us a lot of control over our experience. So when I started thinking about the combination between rationality and relationality, how we are with ourselves and our emotions, and how we are with our perceptions and our minds, I started noticing all these places in my life that there was a gap between what I was doing and what I was intending. Examples were things like, oh, I want to get stronger. That's been something I've wanted for years. I've been telling myself, I'm going to start doing some sort of acrobatic practice so that I can get stronger because I want to feel better in my body. But I never actually did it. There was always I'll do it when I have enough time, when I can actually take a dedicated class and when I'm in town. But I never was. I've been traveling pretty much nonstop for the last 2 years to teach. And so it just kept getting pushed off and pushed off. And I call these things that keep getting pushed off soul eaters, because they have guilt associated, they have weight associated. They kind of pull us back into the past or weigh us down. They make me feel like I can't promise something. I can't say something for sure because I don't actually believe I'll do it. Soul eaters are like, I don't know, they're like weights pulling us to the bottom of our souls, at least for me. So, and these can also be thoughts and feelings that we push away, that we're like, oh, I'll think about that later. Or it's just habitual, it's unconscious. An example is feeling, with my ex, there's a lot of jealousy and pain that will come up in moments. And it's like a flash across my mind, and then it goes to the back, and I'm like, oh, I'll think about that later, I'll feel about that later. And then I start concocting all these stories whenever I have a moment free. It's like the anger in my heart needs something to feed it, and so it comes up with situations where, like, he could possibly say something that would offend me, and I'm reacting to that even without it happening, because in reality I'm hurting and I'm not seeing it. And so the other practice with the soul eaters has been trying to catch those thoughts when they occur and feel, the pain and the loneliness associated. And that's not so much about me resisting feeling it, I think, is just like not noticing those moments. It's so habitual to let it go. There's this idea of samsara, which is basically the same as soul eaters, which are things that, or sanghara, things that get stuck in us. The Buddhists believe that when we die, we kind of pass through all these different possibilities of how we could be reincarnated. Hopefully I'm getting this right. And any place we have a sanghara, anything that triggers us in those possibilities, we get sucked back down into that reincarnation because we still need to live it to get over this feeling. So this is the idea of soul eaters. And for me, it's been this pattern of noticing where I am out of alignment in my life, where reality is telling me one thing, or my desires and intentions are telling me one thing, and I'm doing something different. And sometimes to come back in alignment takes a fuck ton of work, like with the working out thing. it took me antidepressants and promising myself that any day I didn't work out, I would pay $50 to one of my friends to actually get myself to work out every day. And I've done it for the past 10 days straight. And I plan to continue when I get home. For me, it took having a stick over my head of those $50 to do it. But I think that's worth it. And there are other things, like I have a documentary that I haven't finished, and there's so much, like so many layers of guilt that are preventing me from making a post and saying, hey, I need a film editor. I need someone who can help me take this on. It's partly about the time, but a lot more of it is about, like, my soul's been eating at itself about this for so long that really doing it would cause me to have to face all that. And this is actually where I think AR and circling do come in handy, because they are what allow us to look at those things. I want to get circled on this. I want somebody to hold my hand while I make that Facebook post and keep me accountable to answering the replies. That might be what I need. So, and as I kind of work through these soul eaters, I'm noticing this change in my mindset towards the world. I trust myself more. And I didn't for a long time. I was really stuck in this hole of, like, every time I'd think about doing a project or changing something, I would just go, well, you know, I never actually do the things I commit to, so what's the point? And now that I'm starting small and doing some of them, my psyche is starting to trust itself, trust me more. I really think there are different parts of us that communicate, and trust between those parts is a huge thing. Like, does my inner child trust me to protect her? Does my inner doer trust that my consciousness is actually going to do? Things like that. And as I do some of these, I trust myself more, and actually I notice more pain and guilt coming up. It's like I have to look at all this shame that I've been avoiding, but I'm kind of developing the resiliency muscles to do it. So, oh, and the last thing is soul feeders. So there's another aspect of this, which is the soul eaters are like the guilt and the shame and the things that we've pushed away from, that get kind of dredged up from the depths that then I can look at and try to do something about, or flash through my mind and I can stop them. The other thing is soul feeders, which are things that I want to do. They're dreams and desires and hopes and inspirations that I haven't. And a lot of it's because I've been so, like, kind of putting so much attention on resisting the soul eaters. But when I let some of them go, I can move more towards these dreams. And they're soul eaters because they don't have guilt associated with them. I haven't promised anyone that I'm going to do these. I just want to. For instance, I've wanted to create an online facilitation series. But I've thought, no, that's too big of a project. I can't do it. But now that I'm trusting myself more, I've actually been able to start on it. And while I'm here, I've written, 25 pages of content and video scripts and outlines. And, like, there's so much in here about facilitation that I just, like, didn't really believe in myself enough to look or know. And if I don't complete this project, it's probably going to become a soul eater. So I'm trying to continue addressing these little things to build up my resilience for the big ones. So yeah, that's what I've been thinking about a lot. And I want to teach some of this. There's another program I want to create called The Incubator. That's its current working title. And it's, how do we create from this place? How do we take the dreams that we have, the projects, and use this reality alignment to really get them done? Do research when we don't know the truth, find accountability, transform the way that we look at problems and desires. So I hope this video maybe makes you think.